Shut the fuck up, you cunt! Shut it!
Hi, folks. Anyway, welcome
Classic.
back, folks. It is week 19 of the weekly recap, episode 19. And me and Kate from Nerd with the Cigar. How are you?
Hello, hello. Thanks for having me again. I'm doing well.
All right. Also, folks, I am going to apologize ahead of time because there is going to be a risk that my camera will exorcise me from the or exit me from the stream. So if it happens, like when I'm in the middle of when I'm in the middle of an article or something, I do apologize. It is a wonky camera. It's the only one I got right now. I'm working on getting a new one, and hopefully the next one will be of, shall we say, better quality. But with that being said, we got a good thing of stories here for you, folks. Immediately after the recap last week, Hannah Gutierrez-Reed was sentenced. We are not going to need an article for this because, well, it's common knowledge by now. And unfortunately, despite my numerous hints, a couple of publishers thought it not important enough to post. So, Hannah Gutierrez-Reed from Rust, the Alec Baldwin shooting, she was the armorer, and she was responsible for safety on set and whatnot. Well, she has been sentenced for involuntary manslaughter, and the judge said, we can give you 13 months plus this or that, or in the jail, minus the good time. We can give you the full 18 months, or we can give you the probation as you request. Well, here's what Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, the judge said this, had to say during her jail calls, which were monitored. Hannah Gutierrez-Reed was sentenced to a full 18 months, folks, because she had no remorse. Her lawyers had to say that she is expressing remorse. She didn't when she came up and had her chance to speak. She didn't express remorse. She didn't say she was remorseful or that she regretted her actions or anything like that.
And she skipped the acting class too because she couldn't even, fake it.
Yeah, I know, right? And not only that, she was talking to one of her friends on the jail phone call, or on the jail phones. By the way, again, monitored, folks. Yeah. This is seriously going to put a damper in my modeling career. She said that. She also said,
yes, but
accidents
somebody's
happen
dead.
all the time. Yeah, somebody is dead. And it's like, accidents happen all the time. Sometimes people just die. The fuck? Last time somebody died as a result of that specifically was 30 fucking years ago.
Also, let's say, even for the sake of our argument, devil's advocate, somebody still died. Even if it happens all the time, it isn't something that we should get used to. And yeah, I hope it does ruin your career, because I wouldn't want to work on set with somebody who is responsible for somebody else's death due to lack of safety. Absolutely not.
She trivialized a woman's death.
Absolutely.
Saying
she made it about her.
She made it about her. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You literally are saying that this person's death is such an inconvenience that it's messing up your modeling career. Well, Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, since you no longer have a business in Hollywood to come back or to go back to, since you are basically also potentially heavy on the drugs, I mean, you may have been found not guilty for trying to hide drugs and shit, but something tells me you might have been doing it anyway. But that's just an assumption, by the way, folks. Legally, I can't say she did it. it is my assumption that she may have.
Allegedly.
Yes, allegedly. But also the fact that you think that you are going to have any sort of career, modeling or otherwise, after this whole shit went down. The only modeling career you're gonna have, you might want to dust off that OnlyFans account of yours, Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, because well, yeah, that's basically all you're gonna be able to do to make money. Because honestly, folks, her showing no remorse sickens me. And a lot of people are wondering, well, what does this mean for Alec Baldwin? Does this mean that he's not responsible for Helena Hutchins' death? No, it doesn't.
Well, it looks like. Oh, and he's back. That was quick.
I did say that was going to happen, so I'm no longer going to use my camera over here. I am going to use, however, the audio from it. Let's see here, because right now
How's that better? Yeah.
Yes.
Audio. So again, folks, I do apologize for that. My my camera is it's a bitch. Let's just say that. It's a fucking bitch. So, with that being said, she has been found guilty. And she might as well dust the OnlyFans account off. But getting back to Alec Baldwin, does that mean that he is off the hook? No. Because he is also a producer for the film. He also was holding the gun that had the bullet, didn't check it. Well, actors are not supposed to check it. Well, during this trial, there was also videos that this man was severely unhinged, refused to go to safety training drills. While he was doing safety training drills, he was on his phone with his family, FaceTiming. And after, funnily enough, after Helena Hutchins was shot and he got off the set, he calls his wife up and says, "Honey, don't cancel the flight." I just killed a woman, essentially. A woman died by accident. I just shot somebody, but don't cancel that. Don't cancel your trip to New Mexico. We're gonna go out and we're gonna have fun. After he just killed a person by accident or whatever, he kills a person and is so distraught, as he claimed to be, that he tells his wife moments after he shoots a person, "Well, we're gonna go out and we're gonna have fun. Don't cancel that trip, honey. Come on out here, bring the kids. We're gonna go out and have fun." Are you fucking serious, Alec? Are you fucking serious? Because honestly, I keep on looking over here at the camera, folks. I'm gonna have to do, or I'm basically just gonna have to do that to let the camera know that or just to remind me that that camera's no longer functional. But then again, I'll just do this because I also do want its audio to keep picking me up. But yeah, don't you see a kind of psychopathy and sociopathy right there when it comes to Alec Baldwin not caring that he just killed somebody and wants to go out and have fun with his wife?
It's like I don't even have any more words to express my disappointment in this whole situation, because it just basically proves what we've known all along, that Hollywood is filled with a bunch of shallow narcissists who care more about their careers and getting ahead than anything else. So if a person's life isn't valuable on set, like, just because you're making movies doesn't mean you don't have to follow like OSHA regulations, especially if you're working with guns. So if it's partially the armorer's fault, partially Alec's fault, just because she was sentenced and is convicted doesn't mean he's also not at fault. Any responsible gun owner will tell you that you never put your finger on the trigger, or you treat every gun like it's locked, loaded, and ready to kill somebody, basically.
Yeah.
So this whole situation is just very sad because we can argue over semantics of all of these, who's at fault and stuff, but at the end of the day, there's still a husband who doesn't have his wife coming home, and there's still kids without a mom. There's still friends who are missing.
Parents without a daughter and a
Exactly.
sister without a
Right,
sister.
etc., etc. Yeah, exactly. So, um, I don't know. It's just sad.
So, also, I just realized I forgot to do this. While people are here, howdy to everybody in the chat. Neozoic, Fire Devil, Vanya. I forgot to give my schedule. Tuesday is going to be my next theme stream, which is the Harry Potter franchise. Giving my thoughts on the Harry Potter movies. Wednesday and Thursday, I'll try to get content out. I keep looking over at the camera, but that's not using, or I should be looking here. But anyway, I'm going to try to get content out on the days that I'm no longer streaming with Mara. Friday is the shit show on Janet from Another Planet's channel, and Uncensored on my channel. Last couple of weeks were rough, but we are moving past that. And then Sunday is back for the weekly recap. But getting back to it, yes, Alec Baldwin or Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, I love how the judge basically used her own calls against her and called out the fact that it was your lawyer who had to say that you were remorseful, and you didn't say that you were remorseful. So yes, you are going to be receiving the full 18 months as imposed by this, or as the law allows. Now, folks, it is always important to check weapons or honestly, what I would do personally in if I was running Hollywood's safety stuff when it comes to firearms, unless you have a certified, or unless you have attended hunter safety courses, gun safety training, and all of that, you should not be allowed to handle a weapon on set. And if you are a kid, and the movie calls for a kid to be holding a gun or weapon, whether it be or fake or not, they are also to be trained. Because that is the one way that you will also lessen potential for harm. Also, teach them how to identify the difference between live rounds, dummy rounds, and blank rounds. There are 3 different rounds, folks. There is the live rounds, which actually have bullets and powder and all that. There is the blank rounds that have some wadding in the front with some powder to set it off and whatnot. But that's about it. And then there are the dummy rounds, which are just simply solid pieces for show. How live rounds got in there, we don't know. And the fact that Hannah Gutierrez-Reed didn't know how to distinguish the difference is pretty fucked up. So, yeah. Moving on to our next topic, unless you have any final thoughts on this.
No, you covered it. Yeah, you're good.
All righty. The next topic is Zack Snyder. Now, folks, I said a while ago during the topics of the Justice or Zack Snyder's not going to be able to finish his movies. It's like, well, why didn't he just do cartoons, animated, with the same voice cast and whatnot, and finish it? And there have been people who are actually in the Zack Snyder universe. I'm not calling out anybody by name, who they were mostly just people that weren't even YouTubers or anything like that. But it's like, why would he do that? It would totally be stupid to do and whatnot. Bunch of freaking insults. Unfortunately, the proof in which this exists, in which I said, let's just do it in animated form, or he should just do it in animated form, no longer exists, because that profile on X was destroyed. It was erased. It was banned for no reason. So I can't access those tweets. However, it now seems that Zack Snyder actually thinks that that's a good idea. So, yeah, let's get into this. This is from Bounding in the Comics. Shout out to you, boys. Zack Snyder is open to the idea of continuing his Justice League trilogy with animated movies. I mean, it's not completely unorthodox. They did do 3 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies and then have a 4th connected to that same universe. So it's not exactly outside of the realm of or it's not exactly not been done before. So we're gonna get into this. Kate, by the way, say something immediately if I go off camera or if my camera shuts off, please, because I'm over on a window.
I'll let you know.
Yeah. So Zack Snyder is open to the idea of continuing his Justice League trilogy in animated movies. Continuing the Snyderverse at this stage of the game when James Gunn and Peter Safran through DC Studios are closing, hoping they won't fumble. They already have by putting James Gunn in charge of it. Gunn's DCU or breaking the bank. Zack Snyder recently showed that he was warm to the idea of restoring his continuity in animated form when he was interviewed by Empire magazine. Yeah, absolutely. That'd be fun. That'd be cool. He said at the prospect of it. It might not be the same as seeing everyone reunited on set, but Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, particularly reprising their respective roles or parts behind a microphone is preferable to a graphic novel or standard novelization. Every detail of the gritty spectacle Snyder is famous for can be there on screen in living color or grayish tones. Ray Fisher and Ezra Miller might be too much for some in the fandom and in Warner Brothers offices to stomach, so it's possible they could be done with DC for good and would sit the revival out, but nothing is, also don't forget Amber Turd. Yeah, but nothing is set in stone. If anything's even being discussed. As an Elseworld project, Justice League Parts 2 and 3 wouldn't interfere with Gunn's plans, so they'd fit just fine among the Elseworlds film. The creative head of DC said we're in active development. So yeah, here's the thing. It would be fucking hilarious if Zack Snyder was allowed to do this, guys. And his projects got more money and earned more money in the box office than say James Gunn's stupid shit. Just saying, that would be hilarious.
And because he's so visual in the way that he wants to do things, a lot of things can be done in animation that just can't really be done in live action, if that makes sense.
You are absolutely right.
But also, I think the strongest part of his DC universe was his casting, other than Amber Turd and, came out that what's his face
Ezra Miller,
with the Flash. Yeah. But other than that, I would say stellar casting for Superman, stellar casting for like an older Batman, Obviously Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. I mean, hello.
Decanonized that Flash movie.
That movie was hard to watch. That was bad.
I watched it. There was only one part of it that I actually thought was good. And that was the animation of that dark Flash kicking him out of the Speed Force. And as it's closing up, he's just standing up. It's almost like Savitar from the CW Flash was looking out. And it's like,
I didn't like that there was basically no villain in that movie. I was like, no Reverse Flash, like nothing, like come on.
Yeah, except for Dark Flash that was destroying the multiverse.
Right,
but
it
he
was
comes
like,
in,
oh, it was
or it's a tiny
himself.
peek. Yeah, it's a tiny peek, and then it comes out later, and it's like, are you
Yeah.
fucking kidding me?
Yeah, that movie was trash.
Yeah. So continuing on, if the
I
continuation,
think I think
yeah,
visually it would be what it would do a decent job, but like, do you want to waste Jason Momoa, Gal Gadot, and Henry Cavill on voice animation?
I'd allow it. It would still be return. It would have a layer of consistency.
It would have a layer of consistency. I will say the one thing that's not lacking is DC's animation. All of their animated movies have done a pretty good job, and I enjoy watching them.
So if the continuations are to have a future, the question remains as to where they or the ultimate project would wind up. Maybe it becomes a miniseries or takes on the form of a regular show within seasons of episode counts. Either way, the potential continuation for Zack Snyder's Justice League could end up on Max, or maybe it drops on Netflix. A campaign urging the sale for Snyderverse to Netflix is still out there. Yeah, Mads Mama Bear is part of that campaign. Shout out to you, Mads. Regardless of its hopes or how such a deal can be struck, as quizzical a reaction as it would get from the average onlooker, the movement has some legs, with WB partnering with streamers to make money off of their catalog. And folks, considering how passionate the Snyderverse fans were, that they actually managed to get the Zack Snyder's Justice League movie, the Snyder Cut, out, I would not underestimate them.
You know, I will say I don't on average or like normally like it when you have like fans bullying you know, production companies or writers into submission. But the two times that I really enjoyed it were when they redid Sonic's eyeballs and when they released Snyder's cut of the Justice League. I
Yeah.
was like, way to go, fans. Let's go.
I mean, the redesign Paramount and the director Jeff Fowler for Sonic, he respected the fans.
Yeah.
He completely he's like, oh, you guys are just or he didn't say you guys are just assholes, fuck you. No, he's like, we hear you. This film is going to be fixed. It will be delayed so that we have time to fix it. And guess what? That movie made bank. Got a sequel. And
right.
now
Aren't they making a third one?
Bank. Yep. And they got Keanu Reeves playing Shadow.
See, that's how you do, you know, correct. Because I remember seeing the original Sonic trailer when it was released, and I was like, oh god, that's what they made him look like. And I didn't, you know, I've never made any comment about it on YouTube or whatever, but apparently
Yeah.
the outrage was so bad that,
He heard it.
He heard it and was like, all right, well, good on you, dude, because apparently I haven't seen any of the Sonic movies, but I hear nothing but good things.
Funny thing is, I can actually watch the Sonic movie in my head with the original design. And it's bad, folks. It's really bad. With the redesign, as back as it is, it makes more sense. It's like, this is Sonic. Having this weird fucking looking thing as Sonic, no, please no. So yeah, them fixing it is a lot better. So yes, their agreement with Tubi and others, including Netflix, has also given homes to a series in limbo, such as Batman Cape Crusader, which is just one animated Batman project that's renting space at Amazon. And like the saying goes, there's always room for more, and perhaps more than that. So, yeah, there is a chance that the Snyderverse may be saved and get their continuation. And so if they do, hey, that's awesome. If they don't, hey, well, at least the fans can honestly say that they were passionate enough to try.
Yeah, I would say never at this point because, for years, how long did it take for them to release the Snyder Cut? You know what I mean? So,
So from 20 or when did it come out? Like 2016, 2017,
2016,
17,
yeah, something like that.
17. I was locked up, so I know it came out after I was locked up. So 2017. So it took them 4 years to get it out. Yeah.
Well, so who knows? Let's give it to them,
Now, getting back to the chat, question that is completely off topic, but you know what? We'll have fun with it anyway. Who would win in a fight, Lord Zed or Thanos? Lord Zed from Power Rangers, folks. Thanos, if he has the Infinity Gauntlet. What do you think? Did you watch Power Rangers as a kid?
I did watch Power Rangers as a kid. Is this with Madam Death kicking Thanos out of, or exiling Thanos from?
I don't know.
Land of
Put
the
Thanos
Dead.
at his strongest. So if that means he was stronger for it, say yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna say with the Infinity Gauntlet, Thanos.
Yeah. Although the recent DC animated movies have been missed, not as good as the pre-DC AMU movies. The DC AMU, I'm guessing, like the ones like were Batman versus Robin, Batman or Son of Batman, and that whole universe, Dark Apocalypse or Apocalypse War, and all them. That was a good series of movies.
Yeah.
I will say that Suicide Squad: Hell to Pay was kind of a risque or more risque than the others, considering it has like nudity and lesbian sex going on.
Well, Killing Joke had rape scene, so.
Did it have a rape scene or did it have Gordon? Well, the comic for Killing Joke, it was heavily implied that he raped her. Yes. The movie, however, had freaking Gordon stripped down naked and ran through or put on a roller coaster and run through a thing.
Oh, you're right. I'm confusing the comic with the animated show or movie. Yeah.
Although there was also a one where Barbara Gordon literally gets so horny that she just fucks Batman in the suit. So yeah, they don't
on
show
the rooftop
it,
too.
Yeah, on the rooftop.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. She's fuck? Like on. It's like on the. They're like, and they're so close to a window too. They could have like ducked in real quick. Nope.
Yeah. Nope. It's like Jesus Christ. High adrenaline, folks. I mean, very 50 Shades of Grey. Or if you know the situation in that movie.
But they wrote those. Those are like adult cartoons.
Yeah, they were never meant for kids. Especially Son of Batman, where freaking Damian Wayne is stabbing
for
Deathstroke through the eye.
For sure.
Getting stapled to a wall with a sword through his arm. It's like, oh shit, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, moving on to the before we move on, if they do it, you know what? I'd actually check it out because I know it's not James Gunn's stuff. As I said, folks, I will not do or watch or support anything that DC does that James Gunn is involved with. I'm sorry. That man has said, or it's not just the disgusting jokes he made on Twitter. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, look, he apologized for that stuff. It does not mean that he is not a sick individual. It does not mean that he doesn't fantasize about touching kids. I mean, this man hosts parties or hosted a party that was, the theme was come as a pedo. And
like, who even does that? Like, as a joke? I'm sorry,
you have to be a special. You have to be a special, twisted, special kind of fucked up in the head kind of person to do that. So yeah, there's more than just the jokes that he made. It's more than just the jokes. It's the fact that he hosted the party and other shit, man. I mean, it just makes you wonder. Maybe Hollywood is that, or is evil to that degree. And even though we already know it is. But moving on to our next subject or topic is the Fraternal Order of Police. Now, I covered this in a video, folks, but I did want to discuss it with Kate. So the FOP, which is the Fraternal Order of Police, responded to Alan Ritchson's ignorance about the police, claiming that police get away with murder all the time and whatnot. So, yeah, let's get into it. The Fraternal Order of Police responds to Reacher actor Alan Ritchson's claim that cops get away with murder all the time. Go back to your pampered life and let the heroes handle this. So, during the last couple weeks, Alan Ritchson took a shot at the police, saying that police get away with murder all the time, and the Fraternal Order addressed him. Now, he was talking about this in a interview and whatnot. Well, the police basically are saying, or to put it into proper context, cops get away with murder all the time, and the fact that we can't really hold them accountable for their improprieties is just disturbing to me. And we should completely reform the way we do it. I mean, you shouldn't have to spend more time getting an education as a hairstylist than as a cop who's armed with a deadly weapon. He went on to propose we should make it very
incorrect.
hard. Very much. We should make it very hard for people to make mistakes or abuse power in our institutions. And that just reeks of ignorance. So responding to this, FOP took to Twitter. While Mr. Richard gets his face and forehead powdered on set, our officers are out doing a job he doesn't have the courage to do. While he gets to hear loud pops and have blanks fired at him, our officers feel the heat of the bullets as they pierce their skin. So there are no take twos or take threes in real life, Mr. Ritchson. We have people who want to kill us, and we play for keeps. Just another useless Hollywood actor, virtue signaling for attention and at the expense of brave police officers around this country. Go back to your pampered life and let the heroes handle it. So Ritchson would then try clapping back, saying that they're emotionally immature. It's like, this kind of emotionally immature response is the epitome of what concerns me about law enforcement today. If this is how leadership handles a peaceful disagreement, what does life look like for those unseen interactions in the street?
It's not a peaceful disagreement. You called them murderers.
Yep.
You said that they get away with murder. You called them murderers. And then you didn't even have the guts to back up your claim. Okay, when did they get away with murder? When? You know?
He seems to think that they do. Also, Ritchson, again, have you ever heard of internal affairs? I mean, I'm looking over at the camera again. It's like, Ritchson, yeah. Have you ever heard of internal affairs?
They police themselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's police for the police. Yeah.
Yep. And then he claims victim here. He's playing victim. It's like, oh, this was a peaceful disagreement and you're attacking me. Fuck you.
Yeah, you called them murderers. You came out the box swinging. And then they called you a coward, basically, and now you're going to go cry?
Yeah.
You're going to cry now?
Now, how does this shape the character of those police officers looking to management? Do you really want individuals so easily angered who bully like school children to have a gun and protection and the protection of an untouchable union? I don't. Dude, the union's not untouchable. Again, internal affairs. And if they don't do their job, feds can come in.
Ask Derek Chauvin if
Unfortunately,
he got away with
he was
murder.
railroaded. He was fucking railroaded.
No, but like
And
ask him
yeah.
if cops get away with murder. Like ask him.
Yeah. So, to the Fraternal Order of Police, you belittle me for being incapable of demonstrating bravery. But I believe that's exactly what I've shown. You've helped or haplessly fired multiple shots at me simply because I have called for more accountability. No, you said that you said that they were getting away with murder and that the institution doesn't have any accountability when those are blatantly false statements, dude. You cannot be that stupid and expect to not be called out for it. I did this knowing people like you who crave a pat on the back and zero accountability would criticize me. Again, ignorance. Standing up to impossibly large institutions takes courage. Not when you're throwing nothing but lies, and in my opinion, willfully throwing those lies just for a pat on the back yourself. I've never been a fan of blind allegiance, which is dangerous and fertile ground for fascism. Here we go. A political persuasion I'm averse to. And yet, I also believe two truths can be held at the same time. There are absolutely many good and brave cops who deserve public gratitude and certainly have mine.
Look at how he's backtracking now.
Yeah. Simultaneously, it is true that there are rogue or ill-equipped officers who remind us we need higher barriers of entry and stricter regulations so abuses are relegated to the past, but can be or both can be and are true.
So
Dude.
Look how it started with cops get away with murder all the time to, oh, there's a couple rogue bad guys and we need to have stricter enforcement on, who gets in.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Dude, pick a frickin' story and stick with it. Yeah, pansy.
Yep. To only seek praise and ignore this need is extremely unwise, and to endorse those at risk of being ostracized and marginalized, which is who I was referring to in the Hollywood Reporter article. And he calls out Governor Ron DeSantis' bill criminalizes harassments to first responders on duty. There's not much else to it other than that. But seriously, Alan Ritchson is claiming victim because he said, or because the Fraternal Order of Police, the FOP, went or responded to him. And it's like, dude, you are so full of shit. You stink. You have absolutely no idea how our institution works, except for what the public is aware of. And to me, personally, as I said in this, or in my video of this, folks, Alan Ritchson, instead of going after the police, you could have easily done something a little bit different. It's called taking a trip to a police station, asking if you could do something like, I don't know, sitting or doing a drive with, or a drive
like a ride along
on a ride. Yeah, ride along. That, yeah. Also do ride-alongs with not just one patrol division, or not just a patrol division, but narcotics, homicide. Get to know the inner workings a little bit before you go spouting off at the mouth, shooting off at the mouth, saying that police get away with murder all the time. Check out IAB, Internal Affairs Bureau, their division. Check out all of that before you run your mouth. And then maybe you might actually have a better understanding of the police. Now, honestly, if he was to go and do this now, the police have every right to say, go fuck yourself to him. But honestly, if the police do want to go to a more peaceful interaction and actually try to, encourage that there could be some peaceful dialogue, I think they should do it if he actually does come to ask. And maybe if he was so inclined, could also apologize for the whole damn thing and whatnot. Hey, right, Kitty. Good to see you. What are your thoughts, Kate?
Yeah, I think he spat off at the mouth. He's obviously talking shit. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. And then they called him out on his bullshit. And then look at him backtrack. Now, absolutely, like petty me. If he were to come to me now and be like, "Hey, can I do a ride along and learn a little bit more?" Like, I didn't know what the fuck I was talking about. I'd be like, personally, like, go fuck yourself. But I think this would be a good opportunity for the police, especially in his town, wherever he lives. I think the police in his town should be like, "Hey, you live over here. Why don't you do a ride along with us? See the issues in the area that we have to deal with on a daily basis. See the drug problems and the homelessness, or see whatever the issue is in that particular area. The things that they have to deal with. Look at how people treat us when we do a ride along. Hey, look how you know, our lives are in danger. You know, hey, why don't you come have lunch with me and see, meet my wife and me for lunch and see that like I'm a human person instead of just calling me a freaking murderer. I think he obviously has a lot to learn, and he's just some nobody, in Hollywood. Like, and he's just spouting off at the mouth. He obviously doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. But I do think this would be a good opportunity for the police to be like, hey, come and do a ride along. Learn why you're wrong.
Also, and funny thing, or another thing that he can do is look at all, or after learning about what he's or what these police go through day after day, look at how the the police are treated. And you may also discover how much their hands are tied nowadays, where they are forced to cut back because they can't uphold the law with the resources that have been cut. I mean, Alan Ritchson, again, this dude has blanks fired at him on sets like of Reacher and other stuff, and he's firing blanks when he's doing his little gun scenes. And there's the take twos and there's the take threes. People will go up, reapply a little bit more makeup and shit, and it's like, okay, we're ready to go, do it again. That's all he will ever know until he does something like we have suggested. But honestly, it's going to be hard to do that when the entire fraternity of police, or when the people who are representing the fraternity of the police or fraternal order of the police basically responds to you and is like, go fuck yourself. Because you honestly have no idea what we go through.
Yeah, and not only that, I would say too is, okay, if you're gonna be an actor saying police are bad, police are murderers, okay, stop playing police officers in your movies and TV shows.
Yep.
Stop doing it.
If you're gonna say that, fascism this, fascism that, dude, honestly, educate yourself. Me personally, I know the actual reality of the political scale, contrary to what the media likes to show. You see, folks, let me actually see if I can pull it up here. And it turns out I'm going to have to put in my little flash drive here, because this actually is where I put all the important information. Let's see here. So let's see here. Political scale. There, and share this tab instead. So as you can see here, folks, this is the reality of the political scale. Let me get rid of this banner here. Well, actually, it can still go up. You see, everybody says that the far right is Nazism, fascism, communism, and whatnot. If they went back to the 90s and 80s and 70s and whatnot, and maybe even the early 2000s history books, you might realize that it's not like that. You see, far right is no government. The reason why they call it the alt-right is because the alt-right is actually right-leaning people. However, they also have extreme left ideologies. You see, Nazism and fascism are actually total government ideals, and there are places on the far left. Me personally, I'm right in the middle. Yes, I do believe that there should be a little bit less government than we have today, because honestly, I think our government has become too big. So me, I'm a centrist. But according to the political scale that is accepted today, I would be what's known as right-leaning. But me personally, I'm a constitutionalist. If you're against the Constitution, perhaps you need to reevaluate your life. And yes, I did have a theoretical stuff on Orange Hat Uncensored, in which I discussed a possibility to fix the problems we have, which, yes, meant possibly suspending the Constitution for a while, which meant going down a very abusive road. Fortunately, we'll never go down that road, because there's nobody who will do that. Also, because if they ever did, they would never give up power. But yeah, just wanted to bring that up. Hey, Geek Detective Pierce, good to see you. Always a pleasure. So, moving on to our next topic, unless there's anything else that you wish to share.
No, that was thorough. That was good. Yeah, I'm on the same page with you.
So, everybody knows Disney Star Wars, right? And how it is so awesome, and Disney is making so much money off of Star Wars, right?
Are they, though?
They still haven't made back the money that they used to buy Star Wars.
Not even in, like, merchandise?
Oh, so yeah, we're going to get into this one, folks. This is from Forbes, who for some reason has decided to get kind of more objective in their reporting. So Disney Star Wars box office profits fail to cover cost of buying Lucasfilm. Woof. Box office profits generated by Disney Star Wars movies have fallen $2.8 billion short of covering the media giant's purchase of the sci-fi saga's creator, Lucasfilm, according to the analysis of recently filed financial statements. Disney bought Lucasfilm for $4 billion in 2012, and soon gave the green light to a new trilogy of Star Wars movies, which teamed up rising star Daisy Ridley and John Boyega, Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, and the late Carrie Fisher, who headlined the original series more than 30 years prior. It's going on 50 years, just to let you guys know. But back then, when the movie was, it was within the 30 to 40 year range. All the stars aligned in The Force Awakens. The first film in the new series was released in 2015. According to the industry analyst, Box Office Mojo, it grossed a staggeringly $2.1 billion, causing Disney to commission 2 spin-off movies as well as 2 sequels that were already planned. However, the series continued that there was a disturbance in the Force due to over-reliance on computer-generated effects and a lack of the gritty, quirky characters who made the original movies smash hits. In 2019's Rise of Palpatine, The third installment in the new trilogy hauled around half as much at the box office as The Force Awakens. Folks, a lot of people who do reports like this won't report this to you. What I'm about to tell you is pretty staggering. You know that Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix? That movie
that movie's great.
The movie that the military went on alert for, the FBI was freaking out over, the media was trying to get canceled. China made it forbidden for a Chinese release. You know that movie?
And then they made fun of it on late night television, completely missing the point of the entire movie.
Made fun of it and all that stuff. Well, that movie made more money than The Rise of Skywalker, which got an extended release in theaters. Also,
that's because
Joker was
if you
rated
focus on writing a good story with good characters, whether or not, like, now, you know, if you disagree, that's totally fine. But in my opinion, you could have taken that story outside of the DC universe. It didn't have to be related to Gotham or you know, you could have inserted any other dude. It could have been New York City instead of Gotham. You didn't have to have, you know, baby Bruce Wayne in there. The story just works on its own because it was a character-based story.
Yeah.
That's why it made money, because it was just freaking good. And it was good acting, good directing, you know, that's it. Like, that's what the audience wants?
Director.
Wow.
Todd Phillips, the director, he's like, everybody's saying that this movie is so hyper violent. Like 5 or 6 people die in this movie. And people are treating it like it's fucking or saying that it's ultra
like a Tarantino
violent.
film or something.
John Wick fucking kills scores of people in like the third one, because that's what was coming out at the time. Like in the third movie, John Wick kills, I don't know how many fucking
like
people.
200 people or some shit.
Yeah. He just wades through bodies in that one. And people had a problem with the Joker, who only killed 4 or 5 people.
6. Yeah, he killed 3 on the train. Then he killed his buddy in the apartment. Then he killed his mom. Sorry, spoilers.
Yeah. And then he kills the guy in
the talk show host.
Yeah.
And then the cops in the car at the end. It's implied. No. The mob does. The mob does that.
Yeah. The mob does that. Do I think that Disney will sell Star Wars in the future? No. Or what
Probably
other answers do you have? Nope, they won't sell. They can't sell. They can't afford it. Good grievous. The people at Disney are quite economically illiterate. Part of me is going, no shit, Sherlock. What did they expect? I give credit to my little brother for the good grievous line. Nice. And also, what are your thoughts on the rumors that George Lucas is planning to buy or get Star Wars back from Disney? I put no stock in it. I put no stock in that rumor.
He made bank. If you think about it, like, okay,
he didn't just make $4 billion. He made he made $5.5 billion, because he sold the treatments for 7, 8, and 9 for $500 million each.
And they completely scrapped it anyway. And then they brought him back on as a producer for like Ahsoka. Like, I think he was back on sets for like The Mandalorian and shit. And then Ahsoka. So they brought him back on as like hey, we want you to be an advisor or producer. So they ended up like giving him a job anyway and paying him. So he sold the property, made billions, chilled for a couple of years, and then now is getting paid by Disney to be like on set.
They ask him to come on set and see what he thinks for publicity and stuff, and it's like he's already said flat out the Disney trilogy sucks.
Right.
And people are saying
even Mark Hamill has said that. Mark Hamill has said it. Fucking Harrison Ford doesn't even, like, in interviews, he doesn't fake it if he doesn't like a film that he's about to be in.
He doesn't care about Star Wars anymore. Harrison Ford wanted to be done with Star Wars at the end of Empire Strikes Back.
Single shit.
He hates the fact that people bring
Right,
up Han
exactly.
Solo all the time.
Yeah.
As
Right.
for people who are going off on George Lucas saying that George Lucas betrayed the fans by siding with Iger in the proxy war, two things, again, can be true at once, folks. He hates the Disney trilogy and what Disney has done with his property that he sold. And he also doesn't like Nelson Peltz. I mean, people forget George Lucas is a fucking liberal. He is a left-winger. Of course, he's not going to stand with Nelson Peltz, who wants to basically do radical change at Disney and who also sat down with Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago. So, yeah, two things can be true at once. Yeah, the horror. But, yeah, people, it's like he never said, I support Iger's direction with Disney and Kathleen Kennedy's direction with Disney when he has already been on record saying that he absolutely hates what they did to Star Wars. But moving on, continuing on, yeah, Rise of Skywalker third installment hauled around half. In the first case, or just a few weeks before the first case of COVID. Yep, they're going to try to blame it on COVID. And Disney debuted its first Star Wars streaming service, The Mandalorian. It was an instant success thanks to the unlikely pairing of its protagonists. The series is named after a gruff armor-clad bounty hunter played by Pedro Pascal, who is tasked with tracking down the family of a pointy-eared green alien called Grogu. Now, getting back into it, photos of the cute character went viral because resemblance to beloved Star Wars sage Yoda. Well, yes, they are the same species, except that the creation of Grogu completely destroys the continuity of the species of Yoda because Yoda was a Jedi Master by the time he was 100 years old. So, yeah. How can this thing be a baby?
Right, it's 50 years old.
50 years
and
old.
It's a baby, it's 50 years old, so that means it's a baby for 50 years and then all of a sudden it just rapid accelerates.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering what the whole deal is there because the thing is, if you actually break Yoda's longevity down to a human equivalent, this guy, Grogu, at 50 years old, would be around 17-ish. Or 16, 17-ish.
Unless Master Yoda was like a Jedi fucking master at the age of 7. Like our age of 7.
No. Yoda, he attained the rank of Jedi Master in his second century, which was between 100 and 200 years old. That's a part of the EU continuity.
Right.
But
I'm just trying to think of it's weird. It's like, okay, it would have been fine if he were 20 and he's a baby, but 50? Come on.
Yeah. Now, The Mandalorian was watched more than any other show, and according to Nielsen, it racked up 5.4 billion minutes of viewing during its 7-week run, peaking at 1.2 billion during the week its finale aired. It didn't just appeal to fans, but critics too. Audiences awarded Mandalorian a 92 rating, yada, yada, yada. Unsurprisingly, it was renewed for 2 further seasons and even spawned its own spin-off series, Book of Boba Fett. The show's success spurred the developments of new Star Wars productions since it debuted. 3 other streaming shows have been released, and more movies are in development in addition to the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Now, the declining interest in Disney's initial trilogy of movies seems like a distant memory, and the mouse has made the most of it. Last month, Disney released a 67-page presentation singing its praises of the chief executive Bob Iger in a bid to convince stockholders to side with him in a battle with activist investors. The board members are all activists, by the way, folks. The board members are all activists themselves, pushing for DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion bullshit, or otherwise known as racism. But anyway, one of its key posts was about the supposedly spellbinding return of investment generated by the franchises Disney acquired under Iger. The presentation gives its impression of Disney's Star Wars trilogy generated a 2.9 times return of the purchase of Lucasfilm, as that figure is presented next to a timeline of key events at the production's company history. They included the release of the Disney movies in its acquisition of Lucasfilm, which is the only milestone marked with a star. Adding to this impression, is the fact that the other end of the timeline is the Star Wars logo and a photo of the Mandalorian with his little green friend. However, buried in the first line, buried in the fine print, rather. Sorry, I don't know where I got first line. Misread. The revelation that the purchase price of Lucasfilm isn't even included in ROI calculation, return of investment.
Oh man, so they're just trying to like cover up their shit.
That's called revenue inflation, folks.
Honestly, because okay, forgive me, but I was thinking about this for a while because I was like, okay, Disney keeps losing stock, and I'm not complaining about it because they deserve what they get. But as a like, I like to invest in stock, so I was like, you know what, I can buy on the dip when it finally is done dipping and they turn their shit around. I'll buy it and then they'll turn their shit around and it'll be better. And then you read articles like this and it's like, dude, I don't know if they're ever gonna turn their shit around.
Yep.
Because
Now
they're losing money in their parks, they're losing money in their movies. Like,
they lost billions of dollars last year alone in box office, folks. By the way.
And that's between Marvel and Star Wars.
Yep.
And their DC Pixar, not DC, Disney Pixar movies. So like, they're not doing well on any front. They bought all of these subsidiary things. Okay, we bought Marvel, we'll appeal to the nerds. We bought Disney, we'll appeal to the families. And we bought Star Wars, we'll get those guys. No, they're losing on every single front, and it's hilarious.
Now, instead, it is purely based on the box office performances of Disney's trilogy, its two spin-off movies, merchandise, DVD, and Blu-ray sales. As revealed, the methodology is questionable, as Disney's based the ROI on the revenue generated by the movies and merch and whatnot, and Blu-ray sales, rather than the profit they made as it should have done. Using the revenue rather than the profit artificially inflates the result. Oh, isn't that known as revenue inflation?
Yep.
Using the revenue rather than the results artificially inflates the result, as it doesn't factor in the costs that Disney had to pay out. Even this wasn't enough for the media giant, so it also forecast the revenue that it expected the Star Wars movies, merchandise, and yada yada to generate over a 10-year period, and based the calculation on that too. In other words, Disney hasn't actually received the revenue that it used to calculate the return of its investment. In summary, despite seeming to do so, Disney's presentation doesn't actually reveal whether its Star Wars movies have covered the cost of its purchase of Lucasfilm. There may be good reason for this. The analysis of more than 800 pages of company filings has revealed that the cost of making Disney's 5 Star Wars movies hit a total of $2.1 billion, peaking at $567.3 million on Force Awakens. However, that's just the start. Mindful of this blockbuster budget, Disney devised an ingenious way to make money back on the movie. Instead of shooting in the United States, it chose Pinewood Studios in the United Kingdom, much like George Lucas did, where the original trilogy films was made. This enabled it to benefit from the UK government's audiovisual expenditure credit, which gives studios cash reimbursement up to 25.5% of money, or they spend in UK, provided that it represents at least 10% of the film's total cost. At the start of this year, the UK government slightly raised the reimbursement ceiling from 25% in the face of competition from other companies which are offering similar schemes. It has helped to make the UK a dream ticket for movie makers, according to British Film Institute. Foreign studios contribute around 77% of the 1.8 billion spent on making films in the country last year. So this is basically a good gag to get you more money by offering people a small tax return, so to speak. With so much at stake, Disney didn't take any chances and got endorsement from the UK government right from the start. In 2014, Treasury Secretary George Osborne proudly announced that Pinewood would not just be home to The Force Awakens, but also its 2 sequels. This means more jobs and more investments. It is great news for people working at Pinewood Studios, from the set designers to the carpenters. The production had also impacted farther afield. Sets featuring iconic Millennium Falcon and X-Wing spaceships were built at Royal Air Force Base, about 55 miles west of London. So, whilst the mountainous Lake District region in the north of England was setting for the planet Takadana, hiding place of the sword-like lightsaber weapon belonging to Hamill's Luke Skywalker character. Sword-like lightsaber weapon. I want to smack this person. Using local staff wasn't the only catch, yada, yada, yada. So the production companies came up with code names so they didn't have to raise attention to filing for permits to shoot off-site. Let's get back to the numbers here. Another reason are the companies filed the financial statements around a year after the period they cover. This is the latest result. During that period, the company spent $3.5 million, bringing in a total budget for The Force Awakens to a massive $567.3 million. Surprisingly, this isn't more than Disney expected. Its financial statements noted at the year end. But yeah, all in all, folks, the point is they fell short when doing the proper. Basically, if you guys want to read this full article, I will give you an opportunity right here. Here's the full article for you folks, because it's going, or it just goes on and on about the numbers. And believe me, we will be here all night if we go that route. But the point is, they fell short of their return of investment by $2.8 billion. They didn't make all that they needed to if they had done their return of investment correctly. They are lying to the public and inflating their revenue in order to say, we're successful. Buy our shit.
Well, and that's how they are. Plus, I just looked at their stock. They're about up 20-something% year to date in their stock price. So, and then they made a partnership. So I think that they're trying to not only lie to the public, but lie to their investors, saying like, okay, hey, oh, sorry, my cat has something to say about this too.
Yeah, it's like, I heard House of Mouse. I want mouse.
Right, mouse, let me hunt the mouse. But I don't think that it's going to be a good trajectory either way, because Bob Iger has said that he's just going to continue with the DIE or whatever.
DI, yeah.
Yeah. So if he continues down that route, then you're gonna alienate and neglect the audience like you have been doing, and we're not gonna watch your movies, and you're gonna continue to lose money. So if you didn't learn your lesson before, well, we'll teach you it again this year. You can lose another couple $2 billion. Not a problem for
Yep.
me.
Yep. So yeah, folks, the point or the whole point of all of this long trolling that I gave you is essentially Disney's lying to you and will continue to lie to you if you are not smart enough to check their actual financials, which is public knowledge or public domain. So that will bring us to our final closer. I am doing a fifth comment or a fifth one, folks, because this is exciting news. Boondock Saints 3 is coming. Yep. Right. I mean, folks, as a fan of Boondock Saints and Boondock Saints 2, this could not be any better news than this. So let's get into this. From Bounding into Comics, Norman Reedus and Sean Patrick Flannery returning for third Boondock Saints movie from John Wick producers. Oh, I can hear the Blood of Cuchulainn playing in my head right now. By the way, that's the that one tune. So it's All Saints Day again, folks. The Boondock Saints are coming back for a third job 15 years after the last movie in 2009. It stars Sean Patrick Flannery, Nefarious, and Norman Reedus. The Walking Dead are reprising their respective McManus brothers. According to Deadline, the sequel is gaining momentum now that John Wick series producers Thunder Road Films and Dragonfly Films are aboard. However, their plans do not include one key element. Boondock Saints creator and director Troy Duffy won't helm the new installment, and the search is on for a new director. Duffy will reportedly write novels instead that are to further expand the universe of the sibling Irish vigilantes. So he's going the written word route, while we've always wanted the conclusion to be on. When we were given the opportunity to help bring the McManus brothers back to the screen, we jumped at the chance. The unique possibility of building on the iconic mythology of the characters for all the longtime fans of the series, as well as opening it up to a whole new generation, worrisome, is one that we couldn't be more excited about, said Basil Iwank of Thunder Road. Or Basil Iwank. From the moment I saw the first film, it has been my dream to be able to add to the amazing stories of the Boondock Saints. I've been in discussions with Flannery and Reedus over 10 years to bring this dream to a reality, added Dragonfly's Todd Myers. There had been talk of a Boondock Saints, or of a third Boondock Saints for years, and also a TV series at one point. None of it went far, but IMDb's listing for part 3 indicates that Flannery and Duffy have been working on the story for a while. The vigilante brothers McManus, now older, are released from prison in a dangerous new world, facing divergent views of how to continue their crusade, says the site's log line. Basil and Todd are the perfect partners to burst the brothers out of prison. With Basil and Todd at the helm, this will be the best Saints yet. So now's the time for the brothers to break out of the peacoats, reload, and get back to work. States Reedus, I'm thrilled to be working alongside Basil Iwank's Thunder Road Films and Todd McNair's Dragonfly Films to bring more to the story of Boondock Saints to audiences. I can't wait for everyone to see what we have long been working toward. He continued, we are pressing on without our longtime friend and captain, Troy Duffy, on this one. He has decided to write Boondock Saints book series, and I can't wait to read it. Thunder Road recently produced John Wick spinoff, The Continental, for Peacock, and they have The Ballerina with Ana de Armas coming next year. They're also behind the tonally similar Monkey Man star Dev Patel, which just came out. That I heard was actually a shit film. So don't be flaunting that movie, folks. The Boondock Saints was a coveted script in the 90s, courted by the Weinsteins and Miramax. The deal never materialized and be settled for backing by the small outfit, Franchise Pictures. The film became a cult hit on home video, and the sequel, All Saints Days, followed a decade later. The reason why it wasn't released to theaters, folks, was because of Columbine, a school shooting. In the meantime, the trials and tribulations of the Duffy's career were chronicled in the 2005 documentary Overnight. So yes, we are getting Boondock Saints 3. What are your thoughts, Kate?
You know, just like you had made that brief comment, like, yikes, when they said open it up to a newer audience. I hope this means that there isn't like a huge franchise and they're going to like milk this. I hope this just means they're going to make a really good third movie, close out a trilogy, write a good just action flick that's funny and isn't just nostalgia bait like a lot of things where it's a reboot or a sequel years and years and years later. You know what I mean? That we've seen over and over and over again. But having since they've been talking about it for a while, it doesn't, to me, it means it's not just something that the studio is trying to pump out to make some more money, you know. Maybe it's been a passion project for a little bit, and I do like that we have like some John Wick people in there, which means we'll get some really good fun action gun sequences, which I like some shooty bang bang with my Boondock Saints.
That I love it put like that. I really do. I love it put like that.
I mean, that's what you want. You know, you watch a John Wick film, you want Keanu Reeves to just go ham and shoot a bunch of people, and same with Boondock Saints. You want the brothers to just go ham and shoot a bunch of people. So
yeah,
that's what you want. Give the people what they want. Give them some good fun action. Make it a decent story. Don't try to make it too like, how can we appeal to younger audiences? Don't do any of that. Don't do it. I'm warning you. Don't do it.
Yes, you do need new audience, or you could use new audience or more audience, but focus on the older fans. Remember, folks, Boondock Saints isn't for this weak-ass new generation. These people will say Boondock Saints should be canceled because there's too many guns. It's like, fuck off. This is our movies. This shit is for us.
And let us have our fun things. Let us have our shooty bang bang. Like, let us have it.
Exactly. Because honestly, we need people that are, well, more inclined to piss you off. Because maybe then you'll actually grow a spine if you're easily offended. Because you need to be more offended so that you build up that resistance to being offended, you know? Unless you don't have that buildup protein in your body, and in which you will remain a whiny little bitch for the rest of your life. I do believe that is a terminal condition. It's called, what is it called? Oh, right. Bitch syndrome. Anyway.
My coworker calls it MPH, my pussy hurts disease.
You want to know what I call it? LBF, lower brain function.
Either way, we should go back to like the 90s when I was a kid. Sticks and stones might break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Yes, words can hurt when people are mean to you, but it's called growing thick skin. You get calloused about it, and then you better yourself as a person. You start liking yourself, and then you don't really care what other people think. That's the secret.
Mm-hmm.
But
So
back
yeah,
to movies that offend people. Yeah, the first two great films, super enjoyable. I do think that the movie will probably get a lot of The Walking Dead fans that the first two movies didn't get, because Norman Reedus has since done Walking Dead. So we might get a lot, like the boost in numbers might come from Walking Dead fans,
well, maybe
because
because I mean,
people love Norman Reedus from that show.
oh yeah, and I saw Nefarious like a few weeks ago, folks, for the first time. Love that movie. It's a possession movie that's not
So
a
good.
horror possession movie. It's a prison movie that's a possession movie. So it's actually very
And
good.
from a Christian perspective, watching that movie, I was like, dang, that was on point. Like, yes,
Mhm.
it was a really good film. I second
Yeah.
Orange on that.
So yeah, we got a thing from Neozoic off topic. Well, we're done with our topics, so let me actually take that banner down. Off topic, what are your thoughts on a narrative that the reason Lucas sold Star Wars to Disney was to give the middle finger to claim, or to people that claimed Lucas ruined Star Wars with the the prequel trilogy, etc. Again, I don't put stock into any of those rumors because I don't think that they are, or that they have any real weight to them. We've never seen any sort of or we've never seen Lucas respond to the people who hated the prequels, and we've never seen him say one thing or another about it. So all he basically said when he was selling is, I want to be able to spend more time with my family. So it's
But
time
he
for me to
wanted
hand it
to
off.
he wanted to make a sequel trilogy, but he also wanted to raise his kids. So he was like, all right, I
Yeah.
have to pick one over the other. But I don't think anything had been said about the prequel trilogy that hadn't been said about the original trilogy. You can go back and look at interviews with Mark Hamill when I'm so sorry, my cat's like begging for
It's all right.
attention. Um, Back in the 80s, when he was saying that the dialogue was just he was joking around. He was saying how he was talking to George about how the dialogue is choppy and nobody talks like this. Like, nobody says this. Nobody talks like this.
It's a
And that's
space
one of
opera.
the
Shut up.
right, and it's fine, but like that's the same thing with the prequel trilogy. The dialogue was choppy. It wasn't great, but it's become a meme. Like the prequel trilogy has been just memed into oblivion, and I think that's like half the enjoyment now. But yeah, nobody said George Lucas was like the best at directing or writing. He was just the best at like creating universes. I mean, the best Star Wars movie is Empire Strikes Back, and he didn't even direct that one.
Nope, that was done by Irvin Kershner.
Yep.
Kershner had a thing for sequels, man, back in the 80s, I'm telling you. He did he
Well,
did
he knocked it
Empire
out of the
Strikes
park
Back.
with Empire.
Yeah, he knocked it out of the park with Empire, and then he also did RoboCop 2.
Yeah, another great sequel.
Yeah. So anyway, folks, that is going to wrap it up for our topics. We've gone almost 90 minutes. Holy shit. But I do want to thank everybody who follows me on X, who watches on X, all 21 of you, and 3 people in the chat, Neozoic, Geek Detective Pierce, Vanya, Riot Kitty, and, well, Fire Devil X. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Tuesday is going to be my next one where I discuss the 8 Harry Potter films to discuss my thoughts on them and possibly a little bit of magical creature stuff. Then after that, again, if anything strikes the fancy that can be reported on solo, I will report it on. Otherwise, it'll wait till uncensored, or it will wait till the next weekly recap, which will be our 20th episode. And May, for upcoming May, folks, 1s and 2s on Mara's channel. We're going to be doing Blade 1 and Blade 2. And it's Wesley Snipes May. So singles are going to be Murder at 1600 and Demolition Man. So make sure that you guys all tune in for those ones for Wednesday and Thursday nights in May for 8 p.m. my channel and her channel. Make sure that you also follow Nerd with a Cigar on X, Twitter. It's literally at Nerd with a Cigar. So yeah,
So simple.
Yep, very simple. And follow me on X as well at OrangeHat2185, as well as Orange Hat Reviews. It's orange without the A in it, so it's Orange Hat Reviews. That's my original. I'm actually going to try to put my blue check over there instead, because, well, let's face it, I really would like to get back to entertainment-based stuff and politics. I mean, yes, I do have political leanings and whatnot, but I've always been an entertainment-based person. So yes, I've cleaned up my my original Twitter. I'm going to try to build up more of a following over there, and just make sure that you follow me and turn the bell on over there. Also turn the bell on and leave a like here on my channel. I finally reached 4,000 hours, so thank you to everybody who did that. It's now a race to 2,000 subscribers. So if you can get me to 2,000 before 2025, hey, that'd be awesome. In fact, the goal is 2,025 subscribers by the time 2025 arrives. So if we all can do that, yeah, 2025 by 2025. So thank you all. Share out the content, share out the channel links, share out all that stuff. Thank you so much to everybody who's tuned in. See you all next week for another one. This has been Orange Hat. Y'all have a wonderful day. And also, always remember to stay humble. Bye-bye. Oh,
Good
hold
night.
on. Let's have a nice goodbye clip for him.
Are you done? Are you